Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Bohemian Path Tarot. I'm Jen, and I'm going to be doing a 2024 year ahead tarot reading for you. I'm going to lay out my version of the Celtic Cross, and I'm using the Star Seeker tarot deck today. So I'm going to take a moment to focus on you and what's coming towards you in the new year while I shuffle, and I'll meet you on the other side of the shuffle. Okay, Aquarius, let's lay out your Celtic cross. So we find you as the Queen of Pentacles. The challenge is the Chariot. The foundation is the Four of Swords. Recent past is the Three of Swords. The theme for 2024. In the near future, this is the advice. This is the environment. The advice is the moon. The environment is the Eight of Swords. Hopes and fears, the womb. Ooh, judgment in the final outcome position. All right. So it looks like at the beginning of the year, we find you as the Queen of Pentacles. And no matter your gender or gender identity, the Queen is reflecting you in your best, most comfortable surroundings, feeling comfortable in your own skin, feeling comfortable in your home. It's possible that over the holidays you had a chance to do some cleaning or some decorating or something that helps you feel comfortable in your home. It's possible you had lots of good food, you did some cooking, and you feel really nourished and refreshed in that way. But in any case, the Queen of Pentacles is a very comfortable, sensual, self-possessed character. What we have in the challenge position is the Chariot. The Chariot wants to go, go, go. The Chariot wants a green light. The Chariot wants to get on with it, wants to make progress, or wants to make tracks, wants to travel, wants to move. So the fact that this is in your challenge position, it could indicate that some of you had issues with travel over the holidays. That's one really obvious way that the Chariot can be a challenge. There's also the sense of just wanting to make a change, get the move on, or you've got a sense of wanting to get back on track, get back to pace, get back to things. So that's really in a contrast to the Queen of Pentacles, who's really comfortable where she's at. The challenge with the Chariot is needing to go, needing to maybe visit people, and sometimes travel delays, or wanting to leave before the holidays are over, something like that. In the foundation, we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a timeout card. It indicates really needing a break from the pace that you'd been working at, really needing to not only take a break, not only take a timeout, but also to heal yourself, to clear your head space, to meditate, do yoga. For some people, this might even be a time at a detox center or a rehab spa, something like that. It's interesting that this time out is following the chariot challenge, because the chariot is all about go, go, go. And this is like slow down, take a moment, breathe, meditate. So right already we see kind of a push pull between wanting to get stuff done, wanting to get on with the new year, but also maybe a level of burnout that you're dealing with or recovering from. In the recent past, we had the Three of Swords, which is not the happiest looking card. It does indicate a loss of some kind that has you questioning your choices or questioning the position you thought you had or the relationship you thought you had. It's in the recent past, so this is an influence that is fading, but this has come up for other signs to indicate a time when, you know, you're still moving forward, you're still making progress, you're still living your life, but there's something that kind of colors the experience, or like there's a sadness or depression filter while you're reaching milestones or getting ready for the holidays or whatever. So you'll know, I think, what this is for you. It's going to be different for different Aquarians. But again, it's something like it could be a breakup. It could be a passing of a pet or even a loved one. It could just be an end of an era or an end of, you know, like a job or a school semester or something that you were involved with that is ending, and it wasn't a clean closure. It wasn't how you thought it was going to end. It wasn't what you expected or hoped for. So there's still some kind of processing with the Three of Swords, but this is an influence that's fading, that's moving into the background, because what's coming up ahead is the energy of the Hanged One. The energy of the Hanged One is in part about suspension, sort of like being on hold, but it's being on hold to get a different point of view. Often the Hanged One in traditional tarot decks is a character who's absolutely upside down. And the idea is that an epiphany comes from a different point of view. The Hanged One can see something he or she didn't, or they didn't see before from a new position. So there is within this piece, not just a suspension or a timeout, but the opportunity for a whole mind shift or epiphany, especially following this loss or slowdown or break or unpleasant event that you still that may have been shocking or surprising. This is the big idea that helps you move on from this, the new way of thinking of yourself, of your place in your world, of your role in your family, or maybe even career stuff. It's different for different folks, right? And anytime I see the Hanged One, I have to bring up a story I heard a very wise person tell about the practice of meditation, where when you're quieting your thoughts, when you're putting them to the side or trying to get some space between your thoughts and your meditation, it's that space that gives you a moment, that freedom from whatever sort of broken record might be going on in your head, or whatever lists you generally have rushing around, or whatever angry conversations you have, make-believe conversations, retorts, things you would wish you said. That sort of thing gets pushed to the side for just a moment, and you can see it in another way. You can review when you've got a little space between the I don't want to say clutter, but you know how we just kind of have those tapes, we have those things that we regularly think about on a loop. It gives you a little space from that and allows you, if you're willing, to look at those thoughts. Do they really reflect who I am, who I want to be? Do they really reflect a truth of a particular situation? And in that practice, you can sometimes determine, wow, that is some programming that I got from my parents, or that is some programming I felt when I was in high school and thought I wasn't pretty enough or smart enough or whatever enough. But that's not true. That's not who I am, or that doesn't affect me in the same way. And you can, sort of break away from mental patterns, right? That is the theme for 2024. The ability, the epiphany, the mind shift that you'll be making maybe through meditation or your time out here. But it's a time out for a purpose, to really do the healing, not just for the body, but for the mind, to get clarity, to get direction, to sort of reorient yourself to who you are and who you want to be moving forward. Now, the next card in, kind of the not recent future, but the upcoming future is the Tower. And the Tower is read by some tarot readers as something negative. I have come to absolutely love the Tower, because the Tower can represent a time when something that isn't working or wasn't right for you has to break away. Like the crunchy shell, like a peanut shell or a lobster shell or something like that. My apologies to the vegans. But, where you've got this rigid exoskeleton that doesn't allow you to move freely, or doesn't allow you to appear organically or be present in a soft, vulnerable way. It's armor, but armor that, how armor is kind of like clinky, clunky, hard to move in? This is armor that doesn't let you move. It's dead weight, right? So you got to shed this dumb armor. And maybe at one time you thought this armor protected you, or maybe you thought you needed it, or everybody else was doing it. Now that's a metaphor. Okay, so how does it actually show up in life? This could be something like a change in like your living situation. Maybe a roommate decides they're going to move in with their partner, and now all of a sudden you have to make some decisions about, are you going to stay in the same apartment? Are you going to move on? It could show up in something like a job, where all of a sudden, your department is moving to another city, or it could even be something like a layoff or some kind of change that way. And you have to figure out, well, what am I going to do next? Or do I want this position that they're offering me now? Or is it time to move on? The Tower suggests whatever that kind of sudden break is, whatever that kind of a shift that's happening in your world. It could happen in any arena. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a housing situation. Wherever that's happening, it's giving you the opportunity to reset, to let go of something that wasn't working anyway or wasn't for you anyway, and get back to what's true and natural and organic for you, so that you can move more fluidly, without all that clunky armor. Okay, so let's look at the Sun in the position of advice. I think I might have said moon when I was describing all these cards. I was a little distracted over in this area. But this is the sun. You have the sun in the advice position. And the sun is a very happy, positive card. It's when things, just kind of go easily. It's like having a lot of green lights. It's kind of not that you really have to go, go, go like you would with the chariot. This is kind of easygoing. Things just kind of come easily. People come easily. You meet like-minded people, or all of a sudden a party starts, or it's just an easier, lighthearted, joyful energy. And the fact that it's showing up in your position of advice, this sounds so corny, but it's stay positive, stay joyful, stay open, look for the easy, even if you're dealing with some complicated plans with the tower, stay positive. Remember that this is happening for a reason. Oh, and let me point out here in the tower, there are kind of some lightning bolts. Let's see if you can see it without the glare. And I love those lightning bolts because that's related to the element of fire. The element, it's both fire and air. So it's fire is the element of passion and excitement and change, while air is also, ideas, philosophies. So we've got both of these shifts happening for you. And the sun is also related to fire. So we've got a suggestion to stay positive and passionate about what you're building following this epiphany and this kind of breakthrough. In the environment position, we have the Eight of Swords, and that's pretty often just the sort of space where you're keeping yourself too small, or you have kept yourself too small with your own thoughts or philosophies or programming or expectations other people put on you, expectations you put on yourself. And here again, there is the offer to this sword is coming out from the air. It's like divine guidance here. This is a new idea. This is a new perspective. The new perspective you're trying to get in the Hanged One. This is a new philosophy. So this character is not really stuck. This character just thinks that they are stuck. But the idea here is that you can break out of a rigid expectation or rigid plan that you had for yourself that is just not working. You can come up with a new way to pull it together that incorporates the true bits of you in a way that isn't painful or keeping you small, contained, stuck in that armor. In the hopes and fears category, we have the womb. The womb is, in this deck, it's called the womb, but in Rider Smith Waite decks or many other decks, this would be the equivalent of the world. It is the last major arcana card, and it indicates a birth, a rebirth. Oftentimes, the world card actually has a circle, a sort of a wreath, but the circle looks maybe like I'll say it this way, like a birth canal, and the character is coming through it. So it's like you're breaking through a liminal space and reborn into a new phase. This comes up a lot for me with pregnant women, with women who are about to give birth, or people who are about to give birth. But it also comes up for major role changes in your life, major milestone changes. So like when you go from student and you graduate and now you're going to be out in the working world, that's a role change. And this card comes up for that. It's, when you finally retire and you move into your retirement phase, going from a workaday person to, gardens and grandkids or whatever it is for you. That's a role shift, an important milestone, and a rebirthing. Now, for you, it might not be that dramatic like retirement or, giving birth. Because we see a lot of cards in already that are about, at least in the kind of outer circle here, that are about ideas, getting a new shift, making a new plan, making new arrangements, getting a new philosophy. The fact that this sort of liminal card, this just between the worlds coming into a new role, is showing up in your hopes and fears category suggests that it's something that you want, but it's also something you're afraid of. That happens a lot in this category, or the thing you want, the thing you're kind of trying to manifest, but also kind of scared to manifest. That's this character. She's keeping herself small in the thing that she knows, even though it isn't pleasant. It's the thing that she knows. But this next card indicates an opportunity, not just an opportunity in the world, but an opportunity within you to like embrace the rebirth. And in the final outcome card, this is absolutely a rebirth card as well. Judgment. And here she looks like she's in fire. Maybe like a phoenix rises from the flames. I don't know if you can see in the glare here. But in traditional Rider-Waite decks, the Judgment card, which comes right before the World card or the Womb card, Judgment pictures an angel calling men and women and children from what look like coffins, and they come naked into this triumphant, bright, sunny day. It's also a card of rebirth. It's the call to be reborn, and it's a call from the divine. It isn't just an idea you have in your head, or a hope or a fear. It is what is on offer. It is what is next for you. This is your outcome, a rebirth. Wow, Aquarius. Should we summarize? Finding you in a really comfortable, maybe even lazy, sensual, good food, not too active, enjoying the couch kind of phase, or having been in that phase. The challenge being needing to go, needing to meet people, or travel, or deal with some changes that have happened in the past. As much as you need some time out to deal with maybe burnout, there is this disappointment that is still kind of in the back of your mind. It's still kind of covering or coloring your day-to-day world. But coming ahead in the new year is a time to get a new vantage point that allows you to have an epiphany, have a change in perspective that allows you to change a philosophy or change your idea about yourself and start making plans for the changes that need to be made. Once that epiphany happens, your life has to change, and maybe even in a kind of dramatic or sudden way. Once you realize what is not working or what you want, the stuff that's keeping you from moving towards it has to break away. The advice here in that process of, breaking away and moving forward is to stay positive, that this is happening for a purpose and happening for a reason. The reminder here not to keep yourself small, that this idea is coming to you, or these ideas, these plans are coming to you to get you out of this shell that isn't serving you. And it means coming naked into the world. When you release that shell, you may be a little soft, you may be a little tender, right? But this is the divine calling you to have that rebirth, to come again, to forgive yourself for maybe mistakes or misunderstandings, to forgive yourself for not being perfect or not being the version of you that you had planned or set out to be before this epiphany happens, to accept your true vulnerable reborn self. That looks like an exciting 2024 Aquarius. I hope this reading gives you some encouragement. It gives you some enthusiasm or inspiration for the new year. If you feel like sharing, where some of these things may be resonating with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, but no pressure. I'm so glad you dropped by, and until next time, take good care. Happy New Year.